take control of your finances. Gain insights from top industry professionals. Financial topics that matter to you from your go-to resource. This is Right on the Money with your host, Dennis Mattern.
Hello and welcome to Right on the Money, the show that features financial advisors, insurance professionals, and fiduciaries who discuss financial topics that empower you to take control of your finances. I'm your host, Dennis Mattern. We are so glad you've taken time out of your day to spend with us. Now, of course, remember, you can watch full episodes on our YouTube channel or rightonthemoneyshow.com. Today, I am pleased to be joined by our friend Evan Heaton, National Director of Trusted Advisors Group. Evan, great to have you here.
It's great to be here.
Now, for those folks that don't know, where's the office sit, out of curiosity?
El Dorado Hills, California.
El Dorado Hills. Well, tell us a little bit about your practice. I'm very curious for the folks that are watching to learn a little bit more about Trusted Advisors Group, so tell us about you.
We're geared towards seniors, retirees, helping them safeguard their assets and to be able to provide for their futures. You know, we recognize that inflation happens, bad markets happen, and seniors need to be cognizant of that and trying to give them the right education so they can make intelligent decisions about their own assets.
You know, you mentioned education. It's great that somebody is out there providing that because there is just so much noise. You and I were talking about this offset. So much noise either on TV or, gosh, just around when people are having a cup of coffee. Everybody's kind of an expert, aren't
Yes,
they?
that does come up. People often quote friends or somebody that they heard or read, and a lot of times it's bad information.
That brings me to a question I wanted to ask you about. So the influence that other people have on our lives and how we view the world it's really an important thing. And I read on your website that something that helped shape you and your worldview when it comes to helping people with their money was the fact that the lessons you learned from your dad who experienced the Great Depression. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, my father was a huge influence on my life, still is. And as a child, I heard stories from him often. My father was an orphan during the Depression.
Wow.
And having to work on a ranch of a in-law relative just to feed himself. Lived in the barn with the animals, stayed warm by warming giant river rocks on top of a hot potbelly stove and putting them in the bed and sleeping with the rocks to stay warm, that sort of thing. Having said that, he taught those stories to me many, many times as a little boy, as I was growing up, and I've never forgotten them. My mother's 99 and a half, still alive, and she had her fair share of stories as well, and I remember all of them quite well.
It's fascinating because you know that really in my family the same things, hearing the lessons from older relatives and how that affected and shaped their worldview of surviving the hard times and then applying that to when things got better. They definitely approach savings and retirement really different than what we hear today.
Very much so, very much so. You know, you go be honest, you go work hard, and then you spend less than you make.
That's right.
You always are saving for the rainy day.
Yeah, and that is just not the lesson that people are hearing on when you flip the TV on.
Nope. Let's go buy this, go buy that. You know? They don't even have to turn the TV on anymore. They just have to look at their cell phone.
Oh yeah. You don't. Yeah, this close. So with the folks that you're working with and helping for retirement, are they already retired or are they just about in there? Or
the high percentage of them are. They're 62 to 75-ish age-wise and retired, and they've worked hard all their lives and they've saved all their lives. And now trying to know, hey, how can I protect these assets from market losses? How can I keep up with inflation, perhaps outpace inflation, so they still have purchase power as they age? Long-term care issues come up. Those things happen. I think the most recent statistic I read was somewhere around 80% of all females end up in long-term care facilities and about 70% of all males.
Gosh.
These are things they have to pay attention to.
And they've never had to really think about before. Now they're kind of looking them straight in the eye.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to come back after the break. So coming up on Right on the Money, Evan and I are going to discuss if you go out to his website, he's got a great white paper out there called 10 Steps to a Successful Retirement. We're going to talk about that because it's very, very important. And then later on, we're going to talk about what you do with the rest of the nest egg. You don't want to miss that. We'll see you on the other side of the break.